Hello and welcome back to Cloud Native Takes. My name is Robert. I'm joined again once again by with Matt. Matt, welcome.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about I don't code, so how can I contribute to an open source project? Matt, first question I have is coding the biggest thing we need for an open source project?
I would say yes and no. Yes, because with an open source project, you need to have the code in order to have the project. And quite often, the people who run the project are the coders, the people who are ins and outs with the code. But for a good open source project to thrive and to get out there and to be useful, you need to go far beyond it. If you just stop with code, just build code,
Mhm.
it's that thing of if you build it, they will come. That doesn't happen, right? They don't come and they don't engage. And so you need other parts around just the coding in order to have a healthy, thriving project that people who want to use it can show up and take advantage of.
Okay. And what are some of those other roles that are needed for an open source project? I think you touched on a few there.
Yeah, so there's a few easy ones. Documentation, and then there's documentation and documentation. Let me just say that end user documentation is incredibly important, but because what may seem obvious quite often isn't obvious. And being able to have good documentation that communicates not to insiders who know everything, but to people who are going to show up and be involved is just a great thing, especially as the complexity in a project goes up. There's things like graphic designers and UI designers, because think about it. The best open source projects all seem to have great iconography, good websites, things like that, because it's flashy. It attracts
Mhm.
us. It works. Sometimes project managers are useful. Sometimes a coder can do it because that helps keep things organized and from getting unwieldy. Then there's kind of sometimes marketing people. And I know coders a lot of times don't like marketing people, but I've seen open source projects work on things and be developed and be put out there. And I've seen the numbers of downloads and things like that. And then you see marketing step in and start to show off the project with their various marketing channels. And I've seen the numbers go up with projects and just how it can be a positive effect. So I know there's a lot of other ways that people can contribute to an open source project and help it grow and be healthy that go far beyond coding.
All right. So as a non-coder, how would one get started?
I would say look at where your skills are. Maybe you're just somebody who picks up and uses something. Maybe you're a graphic designer. Look where you already have those natural skills and you like doing something, right? And then you got to find a project that you're going to go apply these skills to. Then go try to get involved. Go maybe meet some maintainers, offer up skills, things of that nature, saying, hey, I see your project is here. I do this. I'd love to contribute. Is there some way that I can do it? And a lot of times maintainers are very happy to say, somebody wants to help me with these things that are outside of my coding sweet spot. I'm
Mhm.
happy to let those in. At least that's how the projects I've been involved with have handled people like that.
Okay. So on the other side of it, how should someone not get started with an open source project?
So, a really common thing we see on open source projects is people come, show up, and they say, you should do this differently. Right. And nobody likes to be told to just do something differently. You're doing it wrong, right? People don't tend to like that. And open source maintainers who've been pouring their time and energy into something, they really don't like to hear that. Now, if somebody offers to come help and is willing to work with somebody, that's great. But if you show up in an issue queue and say, you're doing this wrong, let me show you how to do it better, just like everywhere else in life, that doesn't tend to go over well. And so the way you initiate that contact of criticizing versus offering help makes a huge difference.
And I was a coder. You're still a coder. From our perspective, I know where to go find a project if I want to go contribute to it. But for a non-coder, right? How would one find a project to contribute to?
I think look at the projects you yourself use or want to use, or that your
Mhm.
organization, your company, nonprofit, whatever, is trying to use. Look at those because you have a vested interest in it. It's not, I'm just trying to find a random project to contribute to that I don't care about.
Mhm.
Go look for something you care about, something you're interested in, something you use, and try to improve it, especially in a way that maybe you're interested in seeing it improved, because that gives you a stake in the game. And that kind of gives you that extra helpful motivation to get involved and to be interested in making it better.
And to follow up on that, would it give a little more credibility for the maintainers to know that you're an actual user offering to help as well?
Oh yeah, if somebody who's a non-user, or their company isn't involved, interested in it, shows
Mhm.
up and tries to help, it does not go over nearly as well because you never know when that person is just going to be up and leave, and so they might get halfway done with something and then leave you not knowing how something works, and then you're left holding on to problems and things you got to go figure out, which are more work. But if you know somebody is an actual user or their organization uses it, you kind of expect them to be around because they have a vested interest.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Matt. We appreciate your time, and we'll see the rest of you guys in the community.
Okay. Bye.